Hey, how's it going, my friends? I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving and you're getting excited for Christmas coming up. It's going to be a great holiday season, and I'm super excited about all the comments and text messages I've been getting, and I've been getting a lot of dad jokes. We'll do the dad jokes at the end again. I've been getting them from all over North Carolina, Michigan, England. So I'm excited to do that. Today, we're going to talk about a very interesting case. It's a lawsuit against a school district, and it's the Poway Unified School District, where my kids attend school. And like I always say, it's an interesting story about the softball players and a girl that got kicked off the softball team, and her parents are suing the school district, and it's a big deal. And my goal, as always, is that, I'm going to be kind of teaching like civil procedure, constitutional law here, like what's called like school law or educational law, and rules of evidence, and all of that. It's like I'm trying to teach it through this kind of like this. This is kind of a funny story about how it all plays out. You like that? And then all of the things you learn about the laws, just the kind of side notes to the very funny story. Okay, and all of this. All right, so it's at it's at a high school called Del Norte. And I happen to know this high school very well because my son goes there, and I love the high school, and I love the people that work there, and the principals, the vice principals, the teachers. So it's kind of, in a way, it's good that I could say all of that, because if this lawsuit ends up going to a jury, the odds are that a lot of the jury members will be like me. Maybe they have kids that go to that school district. Chances are they'll like that school district. Not a lot of jurors are ones that got kicked out of school. You know what I'm saying? They find themselves not going to juries somehow, or getting out of it or something. So, it's gonna be, I think that the school district, if there's a lawsuit against it that goes to a jury, the school district will have some kind of pull with jurors, in my opinion. All right. So what happened here? This all starts. Okay. So you have the Del Norte High School softball team. And then it just so happens that the superintendent of the whole school district, her name is Marianne Phelps. It just so happens, so her daughter is a pitcher on that team. And then it was a good team. They had a banquet, kind of like toward the end of the year. It was May of 2023. They have a banquet, and then just so happens the person that wins the most valuable player was the superintendent's daughter. And then there was this. This is how it all starts. Supposedly, the other softball team members didn't clap for her when she won the award, even though they clapped for other players who won awards. That is how all of this gets started. In fact, here in San Diego, they call this whole thing ClapperGate. Mateo, why do they put the word gate after every, like Tom Brady, remember the inflation gate? No, the deflate gate. Yeah. Right. And then when we had like $3 missing from the petty cash drawer, we called that Carlos gate, because we all thought Carlos took the $3 from the petty cash and we couldn't figure out where it was. So anyway, so listen. All of this is this clapping issue. And then the superintendent, supposedly she called one of the girls on the team and said, well, like trying to figure out why didn't anyone clap for my daughter? And then ultimately it led to one softball player getting kicked off the team and not allowed to play on the team. And then this very big lawsuit over it. Okay, so let's go step by step here. So after this, the banquet, the superintendent starts kind of doing some things that look a little bit odd. Okay, for example, that night, like when she's trying to figure out, so she was upset or something. So that night, she texts one of the high school student players who is a senior. Now keep in mind, this is a little bit weird. I don't think you should have a superintendent text messaging students, okay? But it gets a little dicey because she's also a mom on her daughter plays on the team. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's a little strange. But she texted her at 11:04 p.m. Right? So the superintendent texted this high school senior at 11:04 p.m. on the same night. The banquet ends at about 9 o'clock, and so she texts the high school senior at 11:04 p.m. The text message, and it's like really cool because it's an exhibit in the complaint. Here it is. You can see it. It was marked as an exhibit in the complaint because the high school student kept screenshotted it and everything, right? Hey, is that the past tense of screenshotted? All right. Okay. So anyway, so she took a screenshot of the sucker. Now I think as a lawyer, I don't think an adult superintendent of the whole district should text message a high school senior girl, "Are you awake?" What do you think? At 11 p.m.? If any of you get a text message from Zeke asking if you're awake, call me right away. Okay, I'll take care of it for you. So that shouldn't be done. I mean, I'm just glad it didn't follow up with something like, "Can I come over?" You know what I'm saying? I think as a lawyer, the only thing worse than text messaging a underage girl, "Are you awake?" that late at night would be sending a text, "What are you wearing?" Right? That would probably be, because I thought this was the worst message, and then me being who I am, I was like, okay, could there be a worse message? What do you think? Yeah. Or "What are you wearing?" would have been a little bit worse. The high school senior responds with, "I am awake." All right. Wouldn't it have been funny if she texted back, "I am not awake"? Anyway, can you talk for a few minutes? I want to ask you something. That's the superintendent. "Yes, sure. What's up? Can I call you now?" "Yes." And then the superintendent and then this high school girl talked for about, 32 minutes. You know why I know it was 32 minutes? Because we have a screenshot as an exhibit, okay? Because that girl is a witness in all of this, and it's a screenshot of the call, or at the end of the call, it has the time, and it says 32 minutes and 4 seconds. So she talked to her, that night for 32 minutes, asking her, "Why didn't anyone clap for my daughter when she won this award? What do the players think about her? Why is this animosity there? And like, what about this? What about that?" I wish the call was recorded. That would have been kind of illegal, but kind of cool if it was, or if they consented to it being recorded, then it would have been legal. All right. Then after that, that girl, the high school senior, she asks around, and then she actually, in a week later, responds to the superintendent, and we have that text message. "Hello, Dr. Phelps. Yes, I did," meaning yes, I did get a chance to talk to everyone else. "When I talked to the seniors, they all agreed upon the fact that they felt like they didn't cheer for any less than they cheered for anyone else." So she's saying that when she talked to the other seniors, they all cheered for everyone the same when they won different awards. There were people that definitely had more energy when their parts were up, but it wasn't because they wanted to bring down the others. None of them were trying to make her feel bad or anything intentional hurt or anyone. We were excited for her and knew she deserved that award and didn't mean for any of this to lead to any negativity. If she wants them to apologize, or they will. They also agreed that the season is over. This is after the softball season, and we're all graduating, and let's just effing move on. This is the high school student. The superintendent responds to her. This is like high drama gossip, I feel like, but it all ends up in the court and the judicial system. "Okay, thanks for your feedback and follow-up. Unfortunately, it greatly differs from what you shared with me that same evening. I think at this point, some are trying to cover up their poor behavior and are not being truthful. But it is what it is, and we'll follow up from our end from an administrative standpoint. Thank you, and have a good rest of the week." Oh my God. Like what? If I was her lawyer, I would have probably just told her, text her back saying thanks. That's it, or just don't text her back, one or the other. But anyway, that's what happens. Now, the next part about this gets a little bit weird, as if that's not weird enough. Then they have these messages, the law firm that's representing the plaintiff, the superintendent went on this like very weird Instagram, what would you call it? A bender? Is that a thing you could do, an Instagram bender? The superintendent of the Poway Unified School District, this is a very popular and very well-respected school district, goes on this weird Instagram bender, according to the plaintiffs. And then they have her Instagram post, because, you could screenshot those, right? That's why I tell Zeke, you got to watch what you put on Instagram, Zeke. Okay, reminder. So this is right after this whole thing happens. So this is what the superintendent post in Instagram. This is me quoting her little thing. Don't make excuses for horrible people. You can't put a flower in an asshole and call it a vase. What do you think? Good point? I don't know. You can't put a flower in an asshole and call it a vase. Let's see. I got a flower. Zeke, come here. Oh, I'm just messing around. Poor Z. He's about to start crying. I was just joking, dude. Okay. Is that it? Is it over?
Nothing is over. Nothing.
Blowing out someone else's candle doesn't make yours shine any brighter. Why is the superintendent putting this on Instagram? This is right when this happened, like the next week or so. Kind of weird. What do you think? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. When it was Mateo's birthday, I actually broke the candle so they couldn't spark, and I felt pretty good about it. Yeah, it was like one of my favorite days. Okay, it's actually a blessing when people expose themselves.
Very poor choice of words.
Hey, this isn't the dad jokes. This is the superintendent posting this on Instagram, right? When I read this, I thought, yeah, expose themselves, like take their clothes off? No. Get your mind out of the gutter, Mateo. She means like showing how, horrible or whatever they are. God, I wish that was it. Insecure people put others down to raise themselves up. Never regret being a good person to the wrong people. Your behavior says everything about you, and theirs says enough about them. Jealousy is a form of hatred. Okay, I can't keep going. Haters don't really hate you. They hate themselves because you're a reflection of what they wish they would be. That was just weird, right? What do you think? Just a little bit weird? I don't know. I always tell people, on Instagram, just put like pictures of your kids or how upset you are, how, why the Raiders are so bad or the UCLA basketball team, when they lose or something. That's what, because it's going to be, unlikely that somebody will use that against me one day. Okay, so she does all that. And then the school opens up a formal investigation over this.
Get the fuck out of here.
And they then they have the students, okay, they want, all right, let me make sure I say this correctly because it's a little, okay, they have the student, they want her, the plaintiff, the girl that ends up filing this lawsuit that was kicked off the team, they want her to sign this document that says, bullying is bad, and I agree bullying is bad, and I respect for the school, and we won't bully anyone, and blah, 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 right? It's like they just wanted her to sign that. She wouldn't sign it. Okay. And that's, until like it was too late type of thing. And then that's kind of what they use as an excuse later, because they then end up sending a letter that says that she's not allowed for her senior year to be on the softball team. And they're kind of using the excuse that, all of this happened and then she wouldn't sign that document, okay? So they kick her off the softball team for the whole year, her whole senior year. I think I was a little overboard. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? It's like ejecting a player for kind of a ticky-tacky thing. But this is the whole year. So overall, I'm not, I don't think, it was a little overboard, right? Then they hired a law firm. And then the law firm sends a letter to the school district saying this is nonsense. That letter was then in mid-August. Okay, so this is like the summer break for the students. So in mid-August, it was August 17. that law firm sends a letter to the school, and that letter basically says, this is all nonsense. We want to file a formal complaint against the superintendent. And then they had 26 witness statements saying that there's no bullying, that, this whole clap thing, just didn't happen. In fact, we have footage of the banquet. Here's some of the footage. As you can see, they clapped, okay, but it wasn't like the students, it was the other parents, that's why she still got an applause. But anyway, they got 26 witness statements saying there's no bullying, it's all good. And then they even have footage of another girl winning an award where the superintendent's daughter didn't clap. Dude, I've never had so much discussion over clapping. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyhow.
It had nothing to do with the clapping or whether or not anybody received claps.
Not that type of claps, Zeke. Man, this guy, dude. Can we have Zeke professional one day, dude? Just one day? Okay, so listen. So, so they have 26 witness statements. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why. The school district then has a formal hearing, like a public hearing. And we have footage of that public hearing where different students speak out about this.
She made life hell for 10 seniors, threatening to bar them from their own graduation.
The board, this sounds like rich people problems to you. This is crazy, right? So they have a formal hearing and then they deny the complaint about the superintendent. Okay, that was on November 15 of, today is November 29th, so that was 2 weeks ago. On November 15, then November 27 is this big lawsuit, okay? And now comes, so now in terms of education law, before you file a lawsuit against a school, you have to exhaust your administrative remedies. That's a rule. So they kind of went through the administration because they filed this complaint with the school. They filed an appeal to the suspension from the team. And so they more or less, exhausted all of their administrative remedies, within the school district. And then, so the only other remedy now is they go to the court. So now we're in the court, right? And I always say, when I was in high school, this didn't happen. Parents and at a high school where there's not a lot of money, they complain. But at the rich high schools, they file a civil action complaint in the San Diego Superior Court. You see the difference there, right? So that's what happens. They filed a civil action complaint in the San Diego Superior Court. Now, first of all, jurisdiction. All right. After they exhausted their administrative remedies, they can go and get judicial review of all of this. It is a remedy. And they went to the state court in San Diego. Now, because they alleged in the complaint that there was violations of the federal constitution, like a free speech and the equal protection clause, they could have filed the complaint in the federal courthouse, which is just across the street from the state courthouse. But there's a big difference between the federal courthouse and the state courthouse. And that difference is there's a civil procedure rule. In the federal court, if you have a jury trial, to win your case, all the jurors have to agree with you, all of them. In the state court, to win your case as a plaintiff in a civil case, you need a super majority, 10 out of 12. Do you see what I'm saying? So because of that little civil procedure rule about that, the full jury as opposed to most of the jurors, a lot of plaintiffs' lawyers prefer to go to state court, and a lot of defense lawyers in civil cases prefer to go to federal court. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a big, if they just change that one rule, there wouldn't, I don't think, be much advantage one or the other. But anyway, and it's important because the school district may or may not try to have the case removed from the state court to the federal court. It's kind of funny. It's just across the street in San Diego, Broadway Avenue on 330 West Broadway Avenue. On 330 West Broadway Avenue is the state court. And it's 220 or 221 or something is the federal court. I've practiced a lot more in the state court, so I know that address a lot better. Anyway, But that across the street thing could take years to decide in terms of jurisdiction. Now, I don't like that the law firm sues the school district. Then they sued it's like they sued like a vice principal, another vice principal, the disciplinary action person or whatever he's called. They sued them individually. I don't like that because they have immunity because they work for the government. They work for the school district. So in their official capacity with the school district, their personal assets, so to speak, and their personal money or whatever is not available to sue. So I don't know why they were sued individually. I think that was a mistake. I don't think the judges are going to like that. It's going to waste time and resources. If the school district wants to have those individuals removed as individual defendants. So I think that was a mistake. So we'll see how that plays out. The allegations are, kind of what I said and everything. Now, I told you earlier, you're gonna learn some educational law. Okay, there's a thing about an education law that the court system gives a lot of deference to the schools and the colleges, So it's like, because there's been so many lawsuits. Oh, I didn't get accepted to, whatever, UCLA. I should have gotten accepted. Maybe you should have, maybe you should not have. But the court doesn't want to take over the university in terms of who's getting accepted. With exception, and the exceptions being if there's some sort of racial discrimination or religious discrimination, but otherwise the court wants to give the school the school has a lot of discretion. And that applies also to people getting suspended or getting kicked off the team. Who gets an A in biology class, who gets a B in biology. There have been lawsuits over that too, So the school district, okay, let's assume that everything they're saying in the complaint is true. Like the factual allegations are true, that it kind of went down this way. And I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying let's start with that. In my opinion, I think it's a little weird how the school acted, but I don't think it's an abuse of the discretion. Okay, in my opinion, it's like I've told a lot of clients, it's okay for a school to act awful as long as it's not unlawful. Okay, and what I mean by that is the school is allowed to be, have some weird things going on. Like, maybe this wasn't really bullying, like, and I think, if I was kind of in charge, I would not have suspended her. I wouldn't have kicked her off the team for her senior year. I probably would have done nothing. You know what I'm saying? I probably would have done nothing. And it might be because when I was on the high school football team and stuff, like people were jerks, dude. If this happened to when I was in high school football, this would have been nothing. This would have been like ordinary course of business. Maybe they would have thrown something at her. You know what I'm saying? Like it was bad. Hey, you want me to tell you a quick story about Joe Samo, high school football player? Oh my God, it's really bad though. It's almost embarrassing. So I was a freshman on the JV team and I didn't play much because the sophomores were like 10 times bigger and whatever. I just didn't play much. So our school, Valhalla, played at Granite Hills High School, which had a very good football team. All right, it was JV. It was in late August in East County, San Diego. It was hot as you know what. It was like a 2 p.m. game. All right. And I was so thirsty. And it was so hot standing on the sideline. And the coach had a rule like everyone had to have their helmets on, like as if I was going to play. No, I was just standing. So I was just so thirsty. I was just drinking water, right? And the manager of the equipment comes up to me. You know what he says? He says, "Come on, Samo." He took the water bottle out. He goes, "Save it for the players that are playing." How freaking embarrassing that was. You know what? Anyway. So, okay. So, hey, no lawsuit, dang it. Okay. So, can we please stick to the lawsuit here? Zeke, is it all right? Can we focus for a minute? All right. So, as I was saying, I think it was a little overboard. I think it was very overboard that they kicked her off the whole team. But I don't think that would be something that the court would intervene in. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, I could be wrong, but here's what the plaintiffs are alleging, okay, in terms of constitutional issues, okay? First, what's called cause of action is that they're saying that the school district violated her First Amendment freedom of speech. Now, what that means is that even if it's true, she clapped, she didn't clap, whatever the fudge happened, right? Even if all of that is true, it's kind of like a protected speech, you know? It's like, for example, if she just came out and said, I hate this player, you know, whatever, or, you know, I don't like the superintendent, or if she came out and said, you know, free Palestine or not free Palestine, whatever the fudge, right? It's like there's like these free speech issues, and it always comes up. So the allegation is that she got punished for a, First Amendment freedom of speech issue. I think that that's a little overboard. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because if the school thinks it's bullying, there's been case law that bullying is not protected free speech for students. So if you want to kind of like make fun of a student, that is speech. But in theory, you're making fun of a student, or you're sending mean emails, or you're making fun of her at school, or whatever. Even though that's speech, it's not protected free speech. Okay, so I don't think that one will go well. And here's another little constitutional law issue. There's the United States Constitution, and then there's the California. California has its own constitution. And in that constitution, there are similar free speech rights, you know, and in some cases it gives more free speech or it gives less free speech. But the bottom line is the school district cannot violate the federal constitution's free speech clause, the First Amendment, and it also cannot violate the California one. So it's good to sue for both, because if you get a violation of either, then the school district is on the hook, okay? The thing with the 14th Amendment, now 14th Amendment prohibits discrimination on a protected class. So it's like if you're discriminating for, you know, racial reasons or religious reasons, you know, that's, you know, then you enter this 14th Amendment jurisprudence. And if you also discriminate based on free speech, that's another 14th Amendment issue. So if it's something like one group of people are protesting whatever union rules, you know, and then they get like bad grades or they get kicked out of school or something, it could be, you know, they're discriminating for them exercising their free speech. And so that could be a 14th Amendment. I also think that one is a stretch. California has some sort of similar thing in the California Constitution. And I just think that one is a stretch. Then they're citing in a rule here that even the rules in the Poway School District. So now we went to the federal constitution, the state constitution, and now we're going to go on the school district rules. It's like, I don't want to say the school district constitution, but the school district, like their kind of rule system, okay? And that one states, you know, you can get kicked out for bullying, and this is the definition of bullying and everything. And then this law firm is stating that this does not constitute bullying, so that the school district is violating even their own constitution or even their own kind of handbook and set of rules. I think that one won't go anywhere because the school district has a lot of discretion here. I think overall, the only way the plaintiff will win this case is if they get some really good evidence, like the superintendent says, I hate that bitch or something weird like that. Like they got to have some sort of good evidence. So they can I think they'll only win that way. Or if the school district, you know, has to spend so much money or it looks bad, or they just, you know, strike some sort of deal. I think they should strike a deal, let her back on I actually love softball and baseball. So I think they should let her back on the team and find a way to, you know, get this thing resolved. It's an unfortunate situation that I can't believe we are including so much. I do know one thing: if they don't resolve this, it's gonna be a well, I don't want to say a nightmare. It's gonna make a lot of lawyers a lot of money, because imagine having to do depositions of all these like students. And then the teachers and the principal. Oh, there was a news report, and get this, an assistant coach for the softball team said, I think that the superintendent screwed up, and it's the superintendent shouldn't have done all this. All right, here's a quick footage from that. So that's a big deal. It's very rare that an employee of the school district will say, my school district screwed up, right? That's kind of a big one. That guy, that assistant coach might be applying for a job at the nearby local restaurants. No, I'm just kidding. You think he'll get fired? You don't think so? I think they're looking to get rid of him. All right, what did I promise you? Some dad jokes. Okay. I have a few. This one comes from Dawn in North Carolina. Love and marriage is like a deck of cards. It starts with hearts and diamonds and ends with a club and a spade. What do you think, Mateo? Zeke, yay or nay on that? Zeke likes it. He's laughing. Looking into essential oils. Which one is it that calms other people down? Chloroform, maybe? Wow. Don went dark on that one. I like it. Okay. Here's some more. This, it's a lawyer joke, you could say. These guys are at a bar, and then they're kind of talking or something, and then they get upset at each other. One guy says, oh man, like he finds out the other guy's a lawyer. He goes, oh man, dude, you're a lawyer. Oh man, you're a lawyer. You're an asshole. And the other guy gets upset. And then the first guy says, okay. I'm sorry. I called you an asshole. The other guy goes, no. I am an asshole, but don't call me a lawyer. Why? Ooh, my favorite comedian is the late, great Rodney Dangerfield. So I wanted to add a couple jokes. So Rodney Dangerfield had all these like funny jokes. He said, you want me to do my Rodney Dangerfield impression? My wife is such a bad cook. My wife is such a bad cook that me and the kids, we pray after we eat. I love that joke. Okay. My wife and I, we always smoke a cigarette after sex. I haven't smoked in months. My wife, though, she smokes a carton a day. See you next week.